Well, this morning we're in this beautiful village outside of Krakow, and you can see the countryside behind me. And we've been in this village church with a group of 200 or 300 people. And in a way, this morning tells half of the story of World Youth Day. The other half is down in Krakow, with great crowds and these huge gatherings of hundreds of thousands, probably edging up towards 1 million young people gathering together. And that's astonishing. They speak of 167 different nationalities here. What other organization, what other institution does that? People from 167 nations, practically every corner of the world, coming together with joy and with cooperation and with exuberance and with youthfulness, with such a positive attitude to life and so much desiring to bring their faith to the job of building a better world. So at one hand we have these huge, great world events, and on the other hand a group of youngsters, and they've spent the morning together, as they do every morning, in much smaller groups, thinking deeply about the mystery of Christ. So this morning I've been talking to them here about the world in which they are the builders of the future. And we started very grittily with the murder of Father Jacques Hamel in the village church outside Rouen on Tuesday. This is a village church. It's as if somebody from this village of a couple of thousand people came and murdered their much loved priest. But that's actually what happened. So we've talked about what we learn about ourselves and what we learn from the mystery of Christ about how we are to be builders of the future. I asked them, how did they see themselves? How many of them were 19 years of age, the age of the two men who killed Father Jacques? I said, I asked myself, am I ready to be in the same place as Father Jacques, faithful to his priesthood, no matter what it cost? And then we looked at the mystery of Christ. We looked at what Christ teaches us about the foundations on which we're going to build. And we said, you know, the depth of the mystery of Christ is the eternal Word of God. And it's only through that Word that I exist. Jesus in eternity pronounced my name, and therefore I exist. So every time I wonder who I am, what I'm for, what the purpose of my life is, I go back to him, and then I'm standing on solid rock. And then we talked about how we view other people, and how St. Paul says that the Gentiles share the same gospel as the people of Israel. And when Paul used the word Gentile, he was using the word that we use today of foreigner. And we have to learn to be very careful, guarded about anyone who uses that word foreigner in a divisive, aggressive way, because we have to see in each other brother and sister. But we also have to be sensible in the way we give help. We've got to be smart. It's not enough to give handouts, to be largesse. It's got to be a help that assists people to build their life in the concrete circumstances in which they find themselves. And then the third foundation that we talked about was in the mystery of suffering. Father Jacques died a terrible death. We had yesterday proclaimed a World Youth Day St. Josephine Bakhita, so I was able to talk about her, and how when we're a disciple of Christ, we never respond with violence to violence. We never respond with violence, because to do so is to destroy the very fabric of Christ's garment of what he's trying to build in our world. So we had these foundations on which we saw ourselves going from here as builders of mercy, builders of the new world. And the youngsters responded to this because they're very aware of the world in which they live. They wanted to know about how they handle hatred in their hearts. They wanted to know about how we should respond to migrants who are at the door. They wanted to know about how they live a Catholic life in a world that doesn't understand, and what they should do to defend their faith, or more importantly, how they should go about living it and letting it be seen, because it's the actions that are very convincing. So in these small units, these small day-by-day catecheses in which 200-300 people gathered, and we had a wonderful conversation this morning and yesterday. And then in the great gatherings on last night, of Tuesday, and of last night, and again the Stations of the Cross tonight, and then the immense gatherings for the vigil on Saturday, and then for the final Mass on Sunday. We have the richness of World Youth Day, and I'm very glad to be part of it, and I hope this little account helps you to share a bit in the spirit and the richness of World Youth Day, Krakow 2016.